me see here. We got something going on here. The camera is a little wonky here, but we'll get this thing figured out. Anyway, welcome to a very special episode of the Gymwright Live podcast. I'm your host, Marcus Jersey, and I have with us here today special guest, Mr. Tyler Sullivan. Let me get you plumbed in here real quick. See if I can get my darn splitter thing to work. Give me just a moment. Technical difficulties this morning are always fun because I have to reset my machine, so I do apologize. Just give me just a second here. Tyler, I've got you this way. Let me see if I can. There we go. We got it. Cool. All right. So today, guys, we're going to be teaching you guys, walking actually through how to utilize the CrossFit Open to not only build community, but also exponentially grow your social reach. Tyler, you've done a really, really cool job with this at Badger CrossFit, and we're going to walk everybody through exactly how they can make the most of this annual opportunity.
For sure, I'm excited about it.
Cool. And for those of you watching, if this is your first time catching Tyler, Tyler's actually been on the show before, so a little bit of background, 4 times regionals athlete, seasoned box owner, Badger CrossFit out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. He's also a full-time business coach here at Gymwright, works with a huge chunk of our clients in helping them build their business. So glad to have you back on the show, Tyler. Thanks for taking some time on your Monday.
Thank you very much for having me. I look forward to it.
Awesome, man. Cool. And for those of you who want to catch his original show, it was back on December 29th, 2017. You can find it here in the network. And that was actually on how to run your own successful 6-week challenge. All right, so let's jump right in. So we're going to break down exactly how you have been using the Open to build engagement and value with your existing community, but also, like I said, exponentially growing your social reach. Because there was a couple factors in your strategy that I thought were a game changer, and everybody had to hear it. So that's also why we're doing this episode on Monday as opposed to our regular Friday schedule, everyone, because it is timely. The Open is starting here in just the next few weeks, so we wanted to make sure we gave you enough opportunity to take this stuff, implement it, and make the most of this thing. So also note, this episode is a little bit more specifically for the CrossFit affiliate owner, obviously hosting the CrossFit Games, or CrossFit Open. Is specific to our industry necessarily, but I think you can still take a little bit from what you're hearing here and apply it in any environment. So stick around and make sure you guys stick all the way through the initial content here, because we're going to get to a live Q&A portion towards the end of the show. All right, so why should a gym owner care about this, Tyler?
Well, it's a really unique opportunity in the space. Obviously, like we mentioned, being a CrossFit affiliate or someone in the functional space that utilizes the Open as a way to get the community together. And it's a wonderful opportunity. It's very timely this time of year. Utilizing the Open is this great way of developing a community reach, community glue, and a way for we as gym owners to perceive value from several groups, right? People that love the training experience but also love the social aspect. And when we blend those two worlds together, it's like a double whammy. It's wonderful. So this is a great thing for us as gym owners to utilize in this space to really just reach different people, and also to, like you mentioned earlier, organically reach the community. So really just reaching other people to see really what I do, because there's a lot of people out there that just don't want to post selfies, but they're very proud of what they do. This is a good opportunity for them to kind of reach out and say, hey, look what I'm doing, this is awesome stuff.
Yeah, and this also, to speak specifically to a lot of the people who've maybe been in our industry for a while, who've been running your box for several years, oftentimes I'll hear people kind of, getting disenchanted with the Open and, we're not really a competitive gym. And I hear what you're saying, because I kind of went through the same evolution when we first, opened up years ago. We were super hardcore with the Open and promoting it, but we did treat it more like a competition rather than for what as a business we could have been viewing it as, which is really like a social integration and community building exercise, where we get specifically the timing of the Open with being shortly after the new year. If you did your job right with your marketing, your advertising, you probably have a bunch of new faces in your gym this time of year, and they're probably pretty new to CrossFit and what we do. So this is a phenomenal way to get them integrated into not just your local community, but kind of like the bigger picture of CrossFit, which when done well brings a lot more value and a lot more understanding as to why this is so powerful and really gets them pulled much deeper into the fold more quickly. Basically this is month 2 and 3 of their time at your gym, so really big opportunity. So, not to mention getting your existing members engaged again. So, all right, let's jump right in here. So you created a format, and give us kind of the overview of what you guys are doing annually, and it's the Affiliate Cup, you guys call it. Kind of break down, give us the overview, and then we'll get into the step-by-step.
Absolutely. So we utilize the 5 open workouts as a method to think about as a 5-week challenge and competition among my current member base. So we create teams. There's usually 4 teams of X amount of athletes, right? Everyone from, 1 week here to 10 years here, whatever, it doesn't matter. We put them on a team, we draft them. So we have 14 captains that end up drafting their team. And then we utilize the 5 weeks as, like I mentioned, just a way to challenge each other. We have themes throughout each week. We have challenges in different ones each week. And we rack up points. So essentially what we're doing is we're creating a way to use the open, like where we all get together on a Saturday or a Friday night or whatever it is, right? For us, it's Saturday morning. And it just gives us the opportunity to just go down with each other. We judge each other. And we have great workouts, right? And the way that we can do this is just, again, push this stuff with each other, and then we can actually compete on the game day. And then all those things that led up to that point count for points, and and ends up every single week. There's a leaderboard and things like that. So again, it's a 5-week challenge that just makes it so it's an inter-gym type competition.
Yep, and hold on one second, Tyler. Give me just a second because I think there's something funky going on with the audio here. So if everyone can kind of stand by, give me just a moment and we play with this. One sec.
Let me see here. All right, so Anthony, Sean, Todd, is this any better for you guys? Please put a comment in there if you guys can hear. They were saying they were having a hard time hearing you, even though I can hear you just fine. So let me see.
Okay.
Sounds better when you stepped away from the mic. Yeah, okay. There we go. Cool.
Got
it. Yeah, something funky happened, guys. When we launched the show, the interface kind of glitched a little bit, so got a little weird. Okay, great. Go ahead and talk, Tyler. Let's do a sound check.
Check. 1, 2, 3.
All right, how does Tyler sound, guys? Give us some feedback. Way better. Perfect. Okay, cool. Let's. I'm not sure if people were able to catch that before, but anyway. So, kind of overview. We've got 5-week challenge. So basically, we're using the open workouts every week. You're running specifically in a team format. And you guys do an athlete draft, and then basically you said the teams compete against each other for points, and the team with the most points basically wins the team open event, right? So correct. Team earns points throughout the challenges, and this is where I thought it got interesting. You had like the themes and attendance and all sorts of fun stuff throughout the 5 weeks beyond just the workouts that really made this special. So excited to dig in. So where should someone start? If someone is like, hey, I've either, been running, Friday Night Lights and just, doing the open workouts every week, like where can someone begin to implement something like this or wrap their head around it?
Yeah. I think first we have to define whether we're willing to put in the work up front. It's going to take some time and things to logistically manage this. And, creating the structure for the points and who's going to keep track of the points and how you're going to keep track of the points. And also what themes you're going to do, what challenges you're going to do, things like that. So that's obviously number one, making sure that you can ride this out for the entire open because you really want to make this an awesome experience and you want to go all in, right? So you just don't want to kind of halvesy it. So that would be my recommendation. And if you're in a position where you're looking to get this going, define the night. It can be either a Friday night or it could be a Saturday morning, okay? And that's the typical days that you'll see out there in the CrossFit sphere of sorts, is that those days are usually best for member engagement. So this is for the masses, and this is going to be for everybody. But once you define this, I would recommend breaking your team or your teams up into 4. So you have 4 teams at least, because in order to make this kind of the most fun, you want to actually be able to have a decent amount of teams to compete against. So that would be another thing. And then determining, whether it's 4 teams of 4 or 4 teams of 44, it really doesn't matter. It's just then you have a team, create Facebook groups for those teams. You make sure the team captain understands kind of what their role is and things like this. But that's the initial steps where we would go, and we can dig further into the challenges and themes if we want.
Awesome. Yeah. Let's do that, man. Let's go all the way in here. Let's help people really wrap their heads around this thing.
For sure. Okay. So usually what we would do is we have from now, or basically when the CrossFit headquarters announces that you can sign up for the Open, is sort of our view of let's start pushing this on our members. Okay. Now, we do not require the Open to be, or sign up for the Open to do this. Again, we can have people that have never done this or just joined our Foundations program. We want them to experience our community, and we allow that. Okay. And what we will do is we will give them about a month or so of sign up so we understand who we can draft for the draft night. So we set the deadline usually about a week and a half to 2 weeks before the first official event happens, and then we draft. And that draft list, we create the teams. And then after we create the teams, the team captains will make sure that they're okay with this. And usually it's a coach or someone that we feel is a really good representative of our community, and we'll create a Facebook group, like I mentioned. And that Facebook group is going to place where your team will communicate and talk about their challenges, talk about the themes for that week, and they're just going to have a good time, right? It's like their own little mini community of sorts. Okay.
Love that.
And then from that point, about a week out, once we kind of figure out when everybody's all like on the teams and things, we will announce the first challenge. Okay. It will also announce the theme for the upcoming Saturday, so they have time to plan. And I'll give you an example. Last year, our first week's challenge, we announced it on the Sunday before. So we'll give them about a week or so. So they had time throughout the week to understand what they needed to do. And our challenge this last time was, let's just do a handstand hold somewhere public. Okay, it could be in their office. It could be on the public street. It could be anywhere but the gym. Okay. And at that point, what the member had to do on that team was, in order to earn the point for that challenge, they needed to tag my gym name. They needed to tag their gym name or their team name. And they also had to say in the Open. And essentially what's happening there is that they're sharing what they just did, right, publicly. It can't be a private post to the general public, but also for us as gym to keep track of their points. So when they hashtag my gym name and their team name, I understand who's tagging me, but also what team they're on. Because there's going to be a lot of this. Last year we had 100 plus people doing this, and it was nuts. But in order to actually understand and organize this, we had to be able to make that kind of the rule. Right. Mm-hmm. So when we got that, the team captain notified us after they've seen it, or if myself or the staff saw it, we will put a point in their spreadsheet. Okay. And that's them earning that point for their team for that week's challenge, if that makes sense.
Awesome. So every one of these that gets posted, they get a point for it towards their overall score at the end.
That's correct. Yes. And that's going to accumulate. Right. And there's a kind of an ongoing leaderboard, plus or minus, like it changes week to week depending on points. Right. But there's also opportunities mixed in that week. Okay, we'll also announce a theme. So, for example, it might be like Team Spirit Night. Last year we had some team name called like something unicorns. So everybody dressed up in glitter and whatever. Like they just had a great time with it. And that was also an opportunity for them to earn points when they showed up on game day. So us Saturday morning. So the more people that actually abided by the kind of the theme as well was their opportunity to earn more points for their gym or their team.
Right. So, okay. So for those of you listening, hopefully light bulbs are going off here with this, because this is the part that makes this unique. So first of all, you've made it a game where they're working together to earn points, but then, which is from like the whole like social integration, especially if you got new people at the gym, you get them now they're going to be fast friends with these people, but also now it's all being shared publicly out on social for the sake of getting points. And this is where that exponential reach is being achieved, because they're legitimately putting this stuff out there and, sharing this with their circle of influence, which when you continuously do this, which over the course of the next 5 weeks is probably not the only thing you're having them post publicly, that you're able to really maximize reach and eyeballs on your gym. So, all right. So we'll keep going here.
Yep.
So you set up these different challenges. Now, do you announce the challenges like for all 5 weeks like ahead of time, or is it every week the new one is announced?
Very good question. We found the most effective way of doing this was releasing it immediately after the day that we perform the event. So what we will do is we will recap the Saturday event for us, right? We will say, what happened. This is, someone PR'd. We kind of showcased the teams and kind of did like a little bit of like a sports center type thing, right? Afterwards. Mm-hmm. And we showed pictures. It was great. So usually it's Sunday, but then we'll announce, we'll basically update the leaderboard because all scores are due by the Saturday that they compete. And then on the Sunday, we'll have the finished rankings. We'll have the next challenge announced. We'll also have the next theme announced. Okay. And that's usually the next day. So it gives them an ample opportunity to earn those points again for the next challenge or the next week.
And so how are you guys actually, what's the medium you're using for that announcement? Is this like a Facebook Live? Is this a video? Is this an email?
Mm-hmm. We announce it via email and blog. And I'll go into this in a second, but we use that as a way to also sponsor. So we have sponsors that we bring on. And I will go into it in a little bit more detail, but that's our way of also thanking our sponsors and showcasing them throughout the challenge. Now, especially if you have a title sponsor like we have this year, every blog post is going to begin with that because they paid quite a bit of money to get their stuff at the top, right?
Yep.
But email and blog was our main avenue, but then each team captain was also one of their responsibilities that they just took on was just to basically push it to their people in their private Facebook group. So there's many avenues that we were able to deliver the communication.
Got it. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, keep going.
Yep. So next week we would do the same challenge, different challenge, but same kind of thing. Again, changing the theme as well. We try to revolve it around things that are really cool. There's a unique one that we did was, and I think it was a great idea, and I think it was one of my buddies that kind of gave me the idea for it. But he did a scavenger hunt where you go and you do some crazy stuff, and you got to go to a public place and like squat inside of a grocery store, or put one of my gym T-shirts, like my Badger CrossFit shirt, on an animal, right, to earn points. So like these things continually changed, and as you go week to week, people are just having a blast with it. They're laughing, they're having a good time, and again, the public is seeing this because in order to earn the points for these challenges, they have to publicly place them out there. We had our third challenge was also like a burpee, and we had people publicly doing one burpee, and it had to be 15 seconds or less in the video stating their team name and my gym name, and they had up to 25 people be able to do a burpee in a public place. And we had people in restaurants that had no idea what a burpee was, and everyone's like saying, hey, do this for CrossFit, and it was great. And it was like everywhere we saw videos of people all across Milwaukee doing crazy things, and it was just a wonderful way to spread the good vibes,
That's what it's all about, man. Guys, this is guerrilla marketing at its best. This is where people are legitimately excited about your brand, about being a part of something. They're having fun. And when other people see this, to them, they're thinking like, wait a minute, I thought working out sucks. I thought going to the gym is this like terrible drudge every morning where you hate it, and I just do it because I know I don't want to be unhealthy or overweight. And this is because this is the magic factor about running a great box, right? When you run a great CrossFit gym or any sort of, small community style gym, this is your magic. This is your X factor. This is what makes you be able to, basically be priceless to people, because it isn't just about providing a good workout program. It's really about making this the best part of people's day. They feel like they're a part of something special. And this like solidifies that. This is like a celebration of that publicly in front of everybody.
Absolutely.
So, all right. So you have the different challenges, and I'd love to hear a few more examples of challenge kind of types, I think, for people, so that at very least someone who's hearing this and is like, I'm not feeling all too creative, maybe we can you can share something either on this, or maybe you can share it into the comments or something, where give someone at least 6 weeks worth of examples that they can start with, so that they can work from. Do you want to share that now, or do you want to share something later?
Yeah, I can go through all of them. Yeah.
Please do. Please do.
Give an example of what we've done, and obviously you can take this and run with this however you want to. Sure. It's kind of fun to create these as well as a staff and coaches to think about what would be awesome, Yep. And this is where like creativity shines. But like I mentioned in the first one, the handstand challenge was awesome. We had people doing their first handstand, right? And it was just like they never had the opportunity, and then it's just like did it for the team as well, right? And then we had people in the office and inside the hospitals. It was great. Second challenge was, I mentioned, the burpees. Okay. With the public burpees. The third one was like a scavenger hunt style. So they had to go out and do some random tasks. Like for us, it was, do an air squat at a iconic Milwaukee monument, right? Or, do a pistol squat on the corner of this street that's very busy, right? And just take a picture. So they had to do these tasks, and they were kind of crazy, and that's where I think the scavenger hunt was like one of the best ones. The fourth one that we did was, it was a squat, so the squat at an iconic place. And then the last one, which I thought was most important, which was on the 5th week, was basically stating why you CrossFit. So it could be, it doesn't have to be CrossFit, it could be why I exercise or whatever, right? But essentially what they did was they had like a piece of paper, or they just stated in the comments basically on their photo of why they decided to CrossFit. And you'd have people that were really inspirational, like to be fit, for my kids, for my, being a better grandma, whatever it may be, right? Kind of the cool way of marketing. You probably have seen those pictures or videos of people holding up a sign and good music in the back, and it strolls through. It was like that, but with hundreds of people doing it. And
awesome.
It was a great way of just kind of getting people to see the bigger picture at that point. And again, sort of solidifying what they're doing, and their friends and family all have eyeballs on them, so they see this and it's like, oh, that's why you're doing this. It makes sense. So really, really cool things like those. Those are just some examples. And this year we're going to add some of the like what we just did, but also some more flavor to it. So I think we're going to continue on and get more creative. But those are some good examples. Do you want me to go into themes as well right now?
Yeah, please, by all means.
So we wanted to center the themes around something that they could do while they're at my gym. So it could be colors, it could be animals, it could be team spirit, it could be a sports teams. Like for us, it was Wisconsin themed, so we had Packers, Badgers, and Brewers and Bucks. Okay. So those kind of things, and like colors is always a good thing as well. But you can get creative that way. I don't really, this year we're going to change it up a little bit, but yeah, they're really fun because everybody's dressed up. Like I mentioned, they're all having a good time. People are doing some cool things in the class, and it makes for good pictures. So it's really, really fun.
So this is on top of the challenge, right? So the challenge is its whole own thing. And then I don't want to say random, but you have a completely separate theme of, like you said, like the sports team or, whatever it is. Every single week on top of it. So whatever they're doing, if they express that theme or it's done in that theme, they get bonus points?
Yeah. So they get a point for doing their challenge, and then they get a point for doing the theme as well and showing up in their designated theme.
Got it.
Well, that's kind of a way of just earning additional points over just the challenge, because some people don't even have Facebook, they don't have Instagram, so it gives them the opportunity to. But we've had people just create Facebook and Instagram posts purely just for this challenge. Right.
That's how you know you're doing it right.
Yeah, exactly. So that was awesome. But like, it's a good thing for them to just come in and show up, and the team captains can relay that word. And that's also one of their duties, is that some people that are not on Facebook or social, that don't have access to that private group, they will reach out to them via email or text or whatever it is.
Yep. Yeah, guys, keep note that not everybody is on that stuff. So you want to make sure everyone feels like, or that everybody has the opportunity to participate on the same level. So make sure you have a non-social media version, I think, available to those who aren't necessarily on it. Because I do recall we actually had a pretty large percentage of our older population that just weren't into it, but really loved to participate. And that was something I was made aware of early on. Okay.
That was our also feedback as well.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got the theme. People get an extra point per person, I think you said, for utilizing the theme or showcasing the theme every week as well. And I think you said you had weekly winners, right?
Yes. Yeah. So in addition to those two things, we also have an attendance thing that if 80% of your team shows up, the team gets an additional 5 points or whatever it was. So we encouraged attendance. So if they had less than that, they wouldn't earn any points for that week. But
and that was attendance to the event, right? To your weekly event, like your Friday Night Light or your Saturday morning deal.
Yes.
Okay, got it. So they got an extra chunk of points if 80% or more showed up per week. Right?
Yes.
Okay, so then you would do weekly winners. So I'm assuming you would use that weekly announcement to then also showcase, like, hey, by the way, Team Unicorns won this week for this, and this? Do you guys like showcase their win for the week?
Yeah. So like I kind of mentioned on the Sundays, right after the event, we'll do the recap, kind of the Sports Center style of like, here's all the, the hot things that happen, we showcase like the weekly winners, their team. We get a group photo of all the teams, so we post their photo. We post the the costumes and things like that. So it's done immediately after the event, so while it's fresh in their mind. And that's also our point of releasing the next week's theme and challenge.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So I take it you guys are putting a good amount of time every week into really putting together the summary, the winners, the upcoming announcement, and really making sure it looks nice and all that. So take the time, guys. Do this part right.
Yes.
Okay. So anything else you want to add to kind of what goes on throughout the 5 weeks in regards to themes or challenges, or we pretty much covered it so far?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So throughout this, and we could talk about this, but about opportunities for other businesses to get involved. And this is a great way for several, it's an opportunity for us as gym owners and things to reach out and connect up with the other business owners in the area that are wanting to get my clients' eyeballs on their stuff, whether it's their service, whether it's their product, whether it's their, whatever. Mm-hmm. So we provide sponsorship opportunities for businesses to also be a part of this event. And, they have vendor space, they have, blog email announcements. During the event competition, we'll announce them as well if they pay a certain amount. So we utilize the sponsorship as a way to enhance the experience, right? So my customers get to understand that there's these things available, or that, this person's able to do this, but then it's also a way for them to reach my audience as well.
Got it. Can you break down your sponsorship structure? So I think a lot of people are probably wondering, like, well, how do I start from a pricing standpoint? Do I have multiple tiers? How many should I be shooting for? If someone is just getting started with this, how would they break this down?
Yeah. So we worked with my staff here and figuring out what would be a fair, but also just inquiring with other business owners what they would be willing to do. But we break it down with like a title sponsor, which is sort of like the biggest, highest level type situation. Mm-hmm. It's sort of like saying Reebok, right, is part of the CrossFit Games. It's the title sponsor. Sure. We also have gold, silver, and bronze packages, and I can make this available. I've actually had several requests after looking at my website for this, and I can make it publicly available in the comments here below after this. Awesome. But it goes into detail of what each one of these are, and I had it pulled up here, but there's quite a bit of information there that each one kind of talks about, and I can share that if that's needed. That
would be killer. Yeah, can you just kind of give us the quick run through while we're on the show here today, and then we can post the contents?
So the title sponsor, there's only one opportunity available. This is just like I said, this is the cream of the crop. It costs $1,000. Okay. So $1,000, and it's across the 5 weeks. Okay. It's we're featuring them as the title sponsor, powered by XYZ company, right? They can have a vendor space. There's a verbal announcement that we do at the event, and each one of the events. So every Saturday, there is an opportunity to speak at the event, so they can come in and talk about their services if they would like. They get a link and a logo on each one of the posts that we have, as well as the emails, so 5 total. Okay. What else? A sponsored email to all of my email lists. So I have about 3,000 to 4,000, I'm thinking this year, of actual prospects that we can reach out to that they could reach in addition to my current member base. And then social media posts. So we'll announce it at like 1 to 2 every week for the 5 weeks. So that would be title sponsor. Gold is $750, silver is $500, and bronze is $250. There's 2 gold opportunities, there's 5 silver opportunities, and there's 10 bronze opportunities. Okay, and it just further breaks them down again. So they each person on the gold and silver gets a vendor space, mm-hmm. and again it goes down into a link and a logo on the emails and the blogs. So similar things to title sponsor, just a little bit less than, right? And it kind of further eliminates as you go down those tiered system.
Got it. Okay, awesome. And do you, just out of curiosity, how many of these spots do you typically sell each year?
So, and that's a good question. This is the first year I've really pushed this. And I've already reached out to several people. In the past, we've had people that just inquired, and we threw our email out to the people that were, business owners in our gym, but also that was just a few other people that we knew as friends. But that was kind of the extent of it. This year, we already sold our title sponsor, so the top tier one is already gone. We have one gold and one silver already sold, so we're kind of making headway, and it's not even a week after I announced it.
That's killer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's, for those of you listening who are thinking, man, this is probably going to take a lot of like resources to promote this and staff time and all that. It should if you're doing it well, but this is what can allow you to not only offset the cost of basically the entire event for the 5 weeks, but also make the gym some money, right? You can actually make some profit off of it.
Absolutely. Because there's a lot of things that, in the past, there's other people that have done like intramural opens or whatever. And it's a great opportunity for them to like charge a fee. I've seen that also, but I'm not in that realm of, I want as many people as possible. So I'm here to make the glue. I'm trying to make it more sticky, right?
Yep.
I want to make it so that my community feels that, and I don't want to have to pay for that. I want them to experience what we really truly can offer and why it's an amazing place. So we use sponsorship as the way to sort of offset those time and energy and costs that we sort of incur.
Yep. And now you don't have to charge guests to come and visit the event and all that sort of thing. We want to keep that barrier of entry basically non-existent so that you get as high a participation from your members and friends and family as possible.
You got it. Yep.
Killer. All right. So let's open it up to Q&A. Those of you who are on live with us here, feel free to start firing off questions in the comments below. And if you're watching this after the fact, feel free to, of course, ask questions and just tag Tyler and or myself. And we're happy to address them for you. As there's quite a bit to what you covered today, Tyler. So I imagine people will have some questions around that. All right. So first question here we got from Dave Matthew. And the question is, do you have a copy of the email templates you use to send out to vendors and sponsors?
Yes, I do. And I'll make I don't have the email template. I have I reach out personally to each individual and because I usually know them or we've made a business connection in some way. So I make it personal. But I do give them the link to our sponsorship level. So it's kind of creates that sponsorship packet, so to speak, and I can make that available if needed. Yeah.
So this shouldn't be a cold email going out. Is I think the point. It shouldn't be you blanket a bunch of bunch of local companies. This should be something where you personally, as the owner, the person who understands the business and is really kind of the representative of your brand, is personally reaching out to these people to try and make this connection and actually sell the sponsorship. And then you can say, here, I'll send you that info after the fact, which really should be, hey, great chatting with you. Here it is attached. Cool. Let me take this one down. Next one from Joel. And Joel, I apologize. I'm not sure how I pronounce your name, Strugnall. But the question is, do you stay away from actual result-based scoring?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. That's just, if they want us, again, when we start with the open, we make it you could be here for 1 week to, 10 years, whatever. We will modify each workout. I'll take the True Games RX. I'll take the games, what Casper puts out for the scaled. And then I'll also create my own Badger CrossFit or whatever, my version of his scaled for the people that are, real normal human beings, right? That maybe can't get a pull-up. We're here to create success.
Yep. Tyler, I think your camera froze up on us here. So I'll go ahead and finish the thought because you and I actually chatted about this before. But we had, Joel, you're back. Okay. So go ahead and finish your thought.
Sorry, did you not catch the end of that? I'm sorry.
No, you basically said, no, hey, this is about, kind of building community. So Joel, to answer your question, because I saw where you cut off Tyler. Okay. The reason we want to stay away from result-based scoring for this competition is that the point of it is not to see who the fittest athlete is. It's about having fun as a community and getting people to participate more than anything. For those athletes at your gym who really still want to compete in the open and see how well they're going to do, they can still do that at these events, but it has nothing to do with the teams per se. Right, Tyler?
That is correct.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. Yeah. You can still have them doing their thing off to the side and still people cheering and they're still part of the whole thing. And they could even be part of a team as far as anyone's concerned. But obviously then they're going to take the actual event much more seriously when it comes to the training component.
Yeah. And can I chime in here?
Of course.
Okay. We've had the ability, and we've had requests as well. So some of our top athletes, they usually go after everybody, or maybe they want to go in the first heat, right? So they still want that community push, and they want them to be cheered on. And it's also just a great way to showcase the amazingness of fitness, right? And what's capable. And there's nothing wrong with that, and we do want to showcase that. So we've had that request, and we usually have the top athletes who suggest, or that have like a really good chance of being like top 100 in the open or whatever, to be kind of on their own, and then they'll all go head to head. And we got the whole gym surrounding them. It's kind of like a fight club, right? Everyone's just around cheering them on. It's screaming. It's awesome.
Awesome. Yep. Yeah, totally agree with you. All right. So real quick here, let me get next one in. Question from, I don't know why this keeps doing this here. There we go. All right. Question from Sean. See if I can shrink that down a little bit. It says, I think you said you leave it open to members who are not paid participants in the Open. If that's correct, does that cause any issues or even discourage some from paying to sign up for the Open?
It can, yes. But what we found is that some people do better off than just throwing down and having a great time versus having to do something for performance sake, right? And sometimes having that buy-in on the website can create a pressure and something that they just don't want to participate in, and they want to use it as a way to have fun, So yeah, I mean, there's absolutely some of that, yes. But for those that really want to do the Open, would do it anyway,
Yeah, 100%.
They just do it. So
you, to kind of sum it up, you encourage them to do it to see how they stack up in the bigger picture. And hey, we encourage everyone to do so, but it's not required. It's not mandatory. And if you feel like it's going to put pressure on you, just skip it. It's kind of, I think, the angle. It's exactly what we did.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. Next one here, question from Sarah Carter says, do you have a doc for point system?
I do, yes. I can also just quickly go over this. There's 6 opportunities to earn points.
Okay.
So if people want to write this down, number 1 is to complete the workout. That's 1 point. Number 2 is recording a score, right? So if they just do decide to join the Open, and they, so this is that part we just kind of talked about. If they do record a score on the CrossFit headquarters website, games website, they get a point. There's 2 bonus team points if 80% of the team completes the workout on Saturday. So again, that 80% attendance rule. There is a 5 bonus points for the team for the team that has the best energy, the best costumes, the best theme, essentially. So that is voted upon all the coaches here on staff. Okay. And then there's a point for during the challenges, of course. So 1 point for every person that completes the challenge for that week. And then the last one is there's additional bonus points that we will throw out randomly. So like if we decide that we want to throw something in on another, quick challenge, like, hey, if you're looking to do, the first person that completes 100 air squats this week, and posts it to video and records the whole thing, maybe you're going to get 10 points, whatever. You can just have fun with that. Yep. So there's some there's some flexibility there as well, but those are the 6 opportunities to earn points, and I can also list that as well.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah, Tyler, we'll kind of get everything organized. And it seems like everyone's kind of asking for all the different aspects of this. So maybe we'll just put together, either a Google Doc or something we can share out after the fact. So we'll put that to comments here once we get that together.
Absolutely.
Cool. If you have any more questions, get them in now. We're kind of approaching the end of our window here. Thank you for those who asked questions already thus far. And again, if you're watching this after the fact, then make sure you just post them to comments, tag Tyler Sullivan or Marcus Gersey in the question, and we'll be happy to answer them for you. Another question here from Sean. Let's see here. Question is, I said, last from me, any examples of prizes either weekly or at the end?
Good question. So we don't have anything week to week for prizes. We have one big ending prize. So the person that wins the affiliate cup, we have a really, really large, I can't even fit it in the screen, but it's very large trophy, kind of like a Stanley Cup trophy, right? And on the bottom is the
Kid trophy.
What'd you say?
The Karate Kid trophy that was like 3 feet tall.
Yeah, right? Like it's bigger than you. That'd be great. But on the bottom is each year, so kind of like you'll see like an old school, like high school gymnasium, right? you'll in the front of it, you'll have like the plaques in each team. So 2017 was, the Huffy Unicorns, and then 2018 is whatever, and then we can keep adding to it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of like just one big huge cup. But we'll throw a private barbecue for the winner. So
right on.
Team at the very end, because we have a big potluck type thing at the very end. But this is outside of that when the weather's a little bit nicer here in Wisconsin.
Okay, that's awesome. I love the idea of that the trophy with the plaque getting added to it every year. Do you guys have like a case with the light and like it's all like in the corner of the gym, like it's the trophy of the gym?
That you know what? That's a good idea. I'm going to take it.
Right on.
It actually it sits up in the front where the whiteboard is, where we do all of our coaching.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like right there all year, and it hangs out, and coaches put their keys in there or whatever. But anyway, it's like right there. It's like everybody can see it.
Love it. You got to share a picture of that in the comments here later. I'd love to see what that looks like.
Yeah, we'll do.
Cool. All right. Question from Amy Klein. I'm trying to get this thing here to stop freaking out. So sorry. My deal here is just wigging today. All right. Question from Amy says, for those who don't register for the actual open, do you charge them to participate to create buy-in from everyone participating?
No, we do not.
Right. So there's no fee.
No fee for this whole thing.
They're just going to let their team down. Social pressure is the fee.
That's exactly right. We found that that's just the best way to get engagement. But again, that comes into like the community building, and like 80% of your team showing up, it encourages that. So throughout the challenge and the bonus points, like you're thinking about everything for your team. It's for the community, right?
Yep. Awesome. Very good. Cool. All right. So I think I don't see any more questions coming in quite yet. If any more sneak in here in the next minute or two, we'll snag those. But in the meantime, just to kind of recap here. So basically, first and foremost, it's about team competition format. You do an athlete draft. Everyone's competing against teams. You have the different challenges every week. You have themes every week. You have, with these challenges and the themes, you basically have a weekly winner for each one. People are getting points for all the different pieces. And you're announcing the weekly winners. There's the winner at the end for whoever gets the most points. You're doing a big potluck at the end. And you have also, really important here, is the sponsorship piece, I think, for people to kind of offset the cost of putting this thing on. I mean, really, if you just sold the title sponsor, you're probably covering your costs and then some already. Consider this an investment, even if you had to pay for the entire thing out of pocket. The $500 to $1,000 it would cost you in paying your staff and getting the trophy and doing the barbecue or whatever it is a drop in the bucket for marketing dollars spent, because remember, it is not just, when it comes to marketing, it's not just about new athlete acquisition. It is also about retention. In the community you are building here and integrating those new people who joined in the first part of the year here, and getting them really integrated socially while getting all your existing and longer standing members kind of re-excited about everything is priceless. Worth every single penny, not to mention this is a blast. Get your name out there like crazy. Okay, one last question squeaked in here from Amy, and then we'll call it a day here. Question is, for sponsors, do you allow members of your gym to do a sponsorship, or do you go after people outside the gym?
Good question. We are pretty selective of that, and we don't want necessarily to be any sort of conflict of interest necessarily. So it all depends on the type of business as well. Like, so if it was like something that was just something that we didn't believe in, we wouldn't accept that as a sponsorship, right? Mm-hmm. So we usually go outside, or I go to the people that I already know, or I make a post on Facebook and I reach out to my network, and I do that route first, right? If after all that opportunity kind of ceases to come about or whatever, I may consider going into the current member base if they're willing, and if they have something that is of value that people would actually have and use, for sure. Yeah, but it's typically external first.
Yeah, good point. Yeah. Very good. Okay, cool. Thanks for asking, Amy. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here for the day. We are already about 47 minutes into this thing. So, Tyler, I want to thank you again for joining us, man. That was a bunch of really, really valuable information. So hopefully someone's going to be able to take this and run with it. I know that you're already doing this with a whole gaggle of your clients that you're working with and helping them put this thing together. So if you work with Tyler, ask him about it. And if you don't work with Tyler, just put the questions here in the comments. We'll be sharing all this, all these kind of templates and docs and whatnot with you guys here after the fact, so you can run your own event. And that said, I think that's going to wrap it up. Thank you everybody for joining us as always. And we'll see you guys again on Friday as scheduled for part 2 of our coaches development program. We did one on Friday with Jason Fernandez of CrossFit Rife. Went over really, really well. And that one we talked about, how to implement a coaches development program, where this Friday we're going to actually talk about how to create an internship and onboarding program for that program to help you actually bring coaches in, take them from scratch and make them high quality coaches within your ecosystem. So tune in on Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Tyler, again, have yourself a wonderful day, man. We'll chat again offline. And everybody else, have yourselves a great week.